Hey there my Irishman, this is Sean of Nintendo here and welcome to episode 30 of Let's Interview. Guys, today we have with us Tale of the Toaster.
With a yo-ho-ho, it's Tale of the Toaster.
How are you doing today, Tale?
I am terrible! No, I'm absolutely fine.
Okay, are you ready for the questions?
Of course I am. My body is ready.
Okay, go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about your channel.
Well, I am a British Let's Player from the distant, faraway land of the United Kingdom. I know, there's Let's Players from the United Kingdom, what? But
Oh no.
that would be me. Tale of the Toaster. I'm currently Let's Playing Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Adventure Mode, the Subspace Emissary on very hard difficulty. I've also done games including Mario Tennis Power Tour, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and some Robot Wars games.
Very nice. So how did you come up with your YouTube name, Tale of the Toaster?
Well, I was in a geography class once, and I had a friend who I was telling to get a YouTube account. He didn't have one at the time, and so I was brainstorming usernames that he could have. And I was really into Hotel Mario YouTube poops at the time, so I tried to make one based on a toaster, and then the words Tale of the came out of nowhere, and Tale of the Toaster was born. And then he never made an account, so I stole the name.
Very good. So, who inspired you to start making your videos?
It comes in two parts. All those years ago, I was one of those people who thought Chugga Conroy was the only Let's Player in the world. And so, his Let's Plays inspired me to start doing pretend LPs, where I basically talked to myself while playing a game. Wasn't recording or anything, but I was just pretending to Let's Play. Yeah. And then in 2012, a Let's Player called Lucky7DX set up an IRC channel called The Lucky Lair. And the guys there, like the Weirdo Maxim and Something Forful, were all about to start Let's Playing themselves. And I started to think, you know, maybe I could do this after all, because I'd always wanted to be a real Let's Player. I just never did become one. And so that was probably the bigger inspiration of the two to actually start making videos.
Okay, cool. So was this your very first YouTube channel?
It wasn't. The only reason I ditched my original YouTube account was because the username is awful. It's pretty horrible. I'm not even going to share it, but...
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Yes.
Torn Gentleman 2. I'll explain where that came from. Basically, when I was first trying to make a YouTube account, I just couldn't get it to work because I was below the age limit, and I just couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. So my favourite YouTuber at the time was a chap called Gibbering Fool. He uploaded some Robot Wars videos, if I remember correctly. So I thought, right, if I'm making a YouTube account, clearly I need a username which is an 8-letter word or something like that. I didn't bother counting. And then a 4-letter word, all in lowercase. And so I ended up switching the two numbers around and I made Torn Gentleman.
Torn Gentleman.
I know, it sounds horrible and that's why I ditched the account, but the point is I went with that, all in lowercase too, and then I did something wrong with it, I can't remember what. So then I made Torn Gentleman 2 instead of just making a more nice username. And then I stuck with that for years. It wasn't actually an unsuccessful account. It had 101 subscribers, I believe, even though I basically just ripped videos off IGN.
Okay, move on to the next question. So, and that is, when you're using your other channels box or your channel, would you primarily reserve it for friends, channels you enjoy, or a mix of both?
I would call it a mix of both, because my box section, it's called Smashing Let's Players, and it is for Let's Players that I watch, but by extension a lot of the Let's Players in there are people that I talk to quite frequently and are friends, so even though it is Let's Players I watch, it is a bit of a mix of both.
Okay, cool. So, what was the very first game you ever played?
Well, obviously I started with some educational PC games, and then the first one I proper got into was The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride Game Break. And the first game I actually owned on a Nintendo console. I don't know what the first I would have played was, but the first I owned on a Nintendo console was the Game Boy Advance version of The Simpsons Road Rage, which was fun.
Oh boy. Good game?
Yeah, it was a good game.
Okay, cool. So, what was the worst game you ever played?
See, there's always been a game which I've regarded as worst game in the world, but I never actually owned it until this week, because I knew my interview with Sean was coming, and I obviously knew about this question, and so I thought, maybe I should get worst game in the world. So I went onto DSiWare and I downloaded a game called Flashlight. Costs £1.80 and it's got 3 modes. The first mode is that it turns both of your screens white. The second mode is that it turns one screen red and one screen black, and it'll slowly alternate between them, and one which just makes it constantly flash between black and white.
So, gives you a seizure.
Yeah, and there's also a credits section which all fits on one screen without needing to scroll.
I'm surprised it took more than one person to make that.
Yeah, there was only a handful of people on there. It really is a terrible game. I know it could probably be called an app, but because it's on DSiWare, I call it a game.
That would be an interesting game to put into my worst game list.
If you have any way to record a DSiWare game,
I'll just use my camera.
You'll have to pay £1.80.
It'll be worth it. So, for the next question, who are some of your favourite people to watch on YouTube?
See, pretty much my favourite Let's Players to watch on YouTube. There aren't many people I watch besides Let's Players, only Rossetti's Replicas, a bit of Smosh. I know, kill me, I watch Smosh. And if I'm out of subscriptions, then I'll just go and watch bucket loads of Robot Wars. But
Robot Wars is a good show.
Oh yeah. So I think what I'll just do is read out all the Let's Players in my Smashing Let's Players box. Let's see if I can do this in sub-order from lowest to highest. There is The Weirdo Maxim, Something Forful, Sailor Mayroon. Oh crap, I've missed one already. Brad the Mad 45's at the start. After Sailor Mayroon it would be Mr. Game and Pichu. And then... wow, I'm really struggling with this. I'm just going to go in any old order now. There's Lord Jackal, Trail Mix Blazer, Lucky 7DX, Mage Knight 404 versus Stelio 78910, of course. Took me a while to say that one. Blue Tanuki and Mario Madness 12. I think. Oh, and you. I think that's all.
Oh yay! I forgot I was in there. Thank you. But for the next question now, what's your recording setup like, and what kind of equipment and software do you use?
Well, if I'm recording a handheld game, then it's pretty much sit in front of the laptop. I do have a port which lets me plug a GameCube controller in, but apart from that it's just sit in front of the laptop. I didn't have a Blue Snowball at the time, so the mic was just built into the laptop. Literally sit at the laptop and record it.
Yeah.
But if I'm recording Super Smash Bros. Brawl, I use an Elgato Game Capture HD to record the gameplay, and obviously a Blue Snowball to record the audio, which I have sat on my lap underneath my chin facing upwards. And I've also had to put blue tack around my control sticks on my GameCube controller so it's not too loud.
Oh wow. Okay. So the next question is, what's your favourite Let's Play that you've done or are currently doing?
Well, there's not many to choose from really, because my 2 Robot Wars Let's Plays are only 2 parts long, so I don't think I can call them my favourites.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be Mario Kart Super Circuit. I obviously enjoyed that, but an 11-part LP on the GBA, which was mainly a filler, that's not going to be my favourite either, so it would either be Smash Bros. Brawl or Mario Tennis, and because it's my favourite game, I would go with Mario Tennis Power Tour.
Okay, cool. So is there any regret you have with any of your past LPs?
Yeah, there is something I regret about basically all of my GBA Let's Plays except for Robot Wars Advanced Destruction. I rendered them all in 4x3 instead of 16x9. So they've all got black bars either side of them, and they could have been filling up the whole screen this entire time.
Oh, well, at least now you know.
And also, episode 3 of my Mario Tennis Power Tour Let's Play wasn't very good, and I really should have re-recorded it, but I didn't. That's the other regret, I suppose.
Well, learn from your mistakes, I guess. That's all we can do. So, for the next question is, what's your opinion on the Let's Play community today?
See, this is a question I don't really have much of an opinion on because it's so vast and everybody's so different. I can't really give an opinion on the Let's Play community as a whole. I think it's a good thing because they make Let's Plays and I like Let's Plays. So, Let's Play community is good. Yay.
Okay, cool. Nice short answer. So, is there any advice you'd like to give to other, not just Let's Players, but even just people starting out on YouTube?
I will direct my advice mainly at Let's Players. The thing that stopped me from being an actual Let's Player for so long, back when I was just doing pretend LPs, was that I always thought it had cost way too much to start Let's Play. If there's anybody thinking of Let's Playing, I would just ask them to actually consider the costs. My Mario Tennis Power Tour Let's Play, excluding me buying the GameCube port, which I didn't actually pay for either, my mum got it as a gift, but apart from that port, which isn't essential, I didn't have to pay a penny, because Visual Boy Advance had its own record function, and my microphone I already had, so it cost nothing. And then with console Let's Playing, obviously that's going to cost you some amount of money, unless you do a camcorder Let's Play. But while you can splash the boat out and get an expensive capture card like I did, you can get a capture card for about £30. Something from Diamond is that cheap. And
even
that's
the HD
way
PVR
cheaper
nowadays.
That's way cheaper than a full price game nowadays, so if you're buying full price games, you can become a Let's Player. Oh, and my other advice for newer Let's Players is try to keep your videos relatively short. Oh, you started breaking up there, but I think I know what you asked. It's not a dig at Sailor Mayroon in particular, but that is something that was a problem when...
It's my pilot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Recording with somebody else, and now we're gonna have to do it all over again.
No, we don't. I can cut it out. I can cut it out.
We'll just go in the kitchen and stay there.
Hey guys, we're back. Sorry about that little cut off there. We'll leave it in a little blooper at the very end so you guys can see what happened. I think you were saying... You think you were giving advice to non-Let's Players where we left off?
Well, I wasn't giving any advice to non-Let's Players, if that's what you said. I was just saying earlier about the whole don't think it's too expensive and keep your videos short.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. So we're going to tone it down a little bit, and this question is simply, what is your favourite Pokemon?
I can give you my top 4 if you want.
Go right ahead.
I never decided on a 5th favourite, but my 4th favourite is Chimecho, my 3rd favourite is Gliscor, my 2nd favourite is Mamoswine, and my favourite is Swadloon, which was my channel icon for well over a year. In fact, well over 2 years.
Okay, I guess we move on to the next question.
You wouldn't want to be a Cocoon, would you? He's alright to be fed up.
Ooh, man. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry. This has been a bit of a messy interview, guys. Sorry about this. We've been having a couple of technical issues here. Okay, we'll move on to the second last question, and that is, what is one embarrassing fact about yourself?
Well, I've not had many embarrassing moments in my life, but there is one that I can recount. I was a young age, probably something like 10, 11 or 12, and I was at the pub with my mum, and I was a bit bored because she always hung around at the pub for ages after she was done eating. And at that age, and still now to be honest, I was a big fan of hand dryers. So
Oh.
I just went to the toilet and stuck my hand under a hand dryer for many minutes. But 12-year-old Toaster, or however old he was, I'll say 11-year-old Toaster decides to make his enjoyment quite public by making many loud noises which make it quite obvious how much he was enjoying the hand dryer. So you can imagine what it was like when I came out of the toilet, just everybody looking like, what the hell were you doing in there?
Oh god, that's brilliant. Okay, we'll move on to the last question here, and this is just some personal feedback for me, but how did you like this interview?
It was poor! No, it was actually quite enjoyable. Even though
Well,
it's
I'm
been a
glad you
bit of a
liked it.
train wreck with all these interruptions.
Oh, you guys are going to enjoy that in the little bloopers. We'll leave that at the tail end of the thing. So guys, we're going to wrap up this video. We want to thank you so much
You've
for watching
missed a
and again for
question.
continuously supporting this series.
You have missed a question.
I did?
Are there any Let's Plays you'd like to do, but can't?
Oh! Why the hell is that saved there? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any game you would like to LP but can't right now?
I'd laugh if my answer was just no. That's not the case, actually. There's a lot of games on DS and probably 3DS as well that I would like to do but can't, because I wouldn't like to do an emulated LP of DS. They're very tricky. But the main one that stands out is the Inazuma 11 series. It's a kind of football RPG, or soccer if you're American. And it's quite similar to Mario Tennis Power Tour, which is my favourite game, and Inazuma 11 2 Blizzard is my fourth favourite game, and I would love to Let's Play it, but I don't think it's ever going to happen, because even though my advice said, don't think Let's Play is too expensive, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to afford a 3DS capture card.
Well,
never
they're
mind.
going relatively, well, I guess 200 and something, but about the cost of the Elgato.
But you have to consider postage as well, because you basically have to send them to America, I would think.
Oh yeah. Well, if I ever live in America, it'll make it easier.
Yeah.
Does everyone move to America just for the sake of 3DS capture cards?
Perhaps. Maybe.
Okay, well you've already answered the last question, so we can call this quite a train wreck of an interview, but you guys are still watching, so clearly we did something right.
Who am I again?
Thanks again guys so much for watching and for supporting this series, and thank you so much TaleOfTheToaster for joining us today.
It was a fun ride.
It was a fun ride. So make sure guys to go check out his channel, link in the description box to his channel and his Twitter, annotations on the screen, all that good stuff. Thanks again so much for watching guys, we'll see you in the next one, so bye bye for now.
Goodbye.